How would you like to explore abandoned urban buildings? How would you like to see old factories from the 70s or abandoned mental institutions? How would you like to see these pieces of urban art and graffiti? Today's guest will talk about these and other unique experiences he encountered exploring abandoned buildings around his hometown. The Humanities Mass Communication Department at Norwalk Community College presents The New Directors, the show that introduces you to television's future writers, directors, and personalities. And now, join our host, Edwin Rosado, to meet the next new director.
Thank you for joining us for today's edition of The New Directors. All of the people involved with this program are students in the television production course and are directing, switching, controlling audio, operating cameras, and acting as talent for the first time today. The guests you will meet on this show are students who, when not on camera, are behind the scenes working hard to bring this program to you with as few mistakes as possible. Each student has written and directed 4 different productions. This program will give them the chance to talk about themselves, the productions they've created, and give you the chance to get to know them and enjoy some of the work they've done during the semester. Our guest today is a photographer capturing photos of abandoned buildings. We would like you to meet today's guest, Henri Hobson. All right, today, buddy.
How you doing?
I'm well. Thank you for coming on here. So, what was your most interesting trip exploring abandoned buildings?
So, my most interesting trip had to be my trip to the Fairfield Hills Abandoned Asylum Hospital. And it's an old, dilapidated asylum with a huge campus. And we went into one or two of the buildings, and we got to see the cells that the prisoners were kept in when they were being too crazy. And we explored a lot of it. And unfortunately, I only got pictures and no video footage, but it was one of the creepiest experiences I've ever had in my life.
Wow.
Walking into the cell, we walked into the actual cells where they were keeping, and keeping the prisoners. I felt something, dude. It was weird. It was
You
not
felt
okay.
something?
Yeah, I felt something.
You know, now that I look at that smile, it makes me realize that it kind of looks like the Kool-Aid Man.
It is the Kool-Aid Man smile.
Is it?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, we thought that was actually hilarious. But yeah, no, tons of creepy locations in there, and it was really, really interesting to see how they would keep just everyone that they brought into the mental institution, and the way they had them living. It was really disgusting.
Wow.
And here is a abandoned factory up in Stratford that was abandoned, I think, in the 70s or the 80s, and I just love the colors of the whole place. They all just pop. It's all the colors of the 70s paint, and it's beautiful.
Oh.
We also like to go to graveyards where the contrast is insane. I mean, if you look at the sky, the blue sky with the gray tombstones and the earth,
Yeah.
it says a lot.
It looks really cool. I saw you did some long exposure there too.
Yeah, I like to play long exposure, capture the lights of everything. And then here's another shot that I got.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So could you tell us why you decided to take the TV production course?
Well, I decided to take TV production originally because I wanted to learn Avid editing, and I wanted to create music videos for my friends because they're all recording music now. They have their own little group. It's whatever, but they need a videographer, and usually in photography, so I wanted to learn video and everything that goes in it.
Okay, yeah. It's always fun working with friends, especially when you're close to them. You can do some awesome stuff together.
Exactly.
So what are the most useful things you've learned during this course?
The most useful thing I learned during this course was the different types of vectoring and rule of thirds. It's very important to create an aesthetically pleasing shot that also creates motion and action. So if you have someone pointing off screen, it's like an index vector, and emotions for the camera to take the next shot off screen.
Okay, that's a pretty good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
So tell us about the 4 productions you've done during this course: the Cup of Tea, Student Studies, Nature Project, and the Orange Project.
So the few projects that I did this semester were fun to work on, and for the Student Studies, we did it at our local library with my friend Matt, and this was challenging because it was our first project that we ever did, and it was only cutting on the action, so there wasn't too much freedom there. And my friend Matt had a big problem with breaking continuity, and we ended up doing every single shot, 40 times. It
Oh.
was ridiculous.
Yeah, I know what that's like. That's
It was ridiculous.
yeah.
And yeah, just basic stuff, cutting on the action here. And then cup of tea, I focused more on colors and just creating a more aesthetically pleasing shot. And we shot that in the kitchen of my house with my girlfriend. And once again, just cutting on the action. I think it came out pretty smooth.
Yeah, I like the way the red cup sticks out against the countertop.
Yeah,
It's really nice.
Exactly. Contrast. And then I think my favorite project was the New England Seasonal Project, or the Nature Project. And for this one, I went to Ithaca, New York with one of my buddies to visit my friend Jonathan. And he took us down to this valley with a huge waterfall. And Ithaca, New York is famous for its like waterfalls and its trails in the backwoods. So we got a lot of really cool shots there along the waterfall with all the erosion of the rocks. It was really cool. And then for my orange project, we had a little more freedom with this one, so I decided to be a little more creative with this project, and it was very freeing to be creative.
Okay, yeah. That's definitely a lot of fun to make up, your own storyline and come up with everything.
Exactly, wrote a script and everything for it.
Yeah, that's really cool. Really, really cool. So, I know that you said your favorite project was the Nature Project. Could you tell us a little bit more about that one?
Yeah, so for the Nature Project, when we traveled to Ithaca, we got a chance to see these crazy gorges and waterfalls with the crazy erosion, as you can see here. And there's some audio in it if you want to take a listen.
I gotta say, I really do love that waterfall shot. It's quite nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. I just love the way the erosion is in the rocks. It shows the different layers of time.
Yeah.
And then we also went to a park and got a lot of cool shots of just general animals milling about in the woods, We also went to a place called Bridge Under a Bridge in Norwalk, which is famous for its graffiti. And there's 3 sections of graffiti under the bridge. And if you go there, me and Ty and Eric went there a few classes ago to film our nature project.
Okay.
We got a lot of really cool shots there.
That's really cool. So, you mentioned a variety of things that you've learned during this course. Which one would you think is the most important skill, and how would you put that to use further or later on?
Most important skill, I would say, is general rule of thirds, which also applies to photography in general for me too. It's just helps you create a more aesthetically pleasing shot with not too much distractions in the frame.
Yeah.
Generally focusing on one area.
Well, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Seems like you've learned a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah. Today we got to meet someone who shared with us the chance to see urban exploration through pictures. As a new TV director, he hopes to apply what he has learned here at NCC to document the world that's been left behind. He also plans to use the new knowledge from TV1 to create exciting travel and music videos in the future. We would like to thank Henri Hobson for joining us today.
Thank you, Edwin. It's been my pleasure.
Yeah, it was nice having you on here, man. Thank you for coming out.
Of course.
We hope you enjoyed meeting one of television's future directors, and we hope you will continue to join us each week to watch our progress. Thank you, and have a great day.
Thank you, Edwin.
Oh, no problem.
Help.
This has been The New Directors with your host, Edwin Rosado. Directed by James Thompson, I'm your announcer, Ty Doris. The New Directors is a Norwalk Community College student production.